I'm with Monty from Heights at the Engine Shed in Lincoln before their headlining show tonight. What can we expect? Or are you really looking forward to tonight's show here at Lincoln?
I am. I mean, I played my first show here as vocalist in this band actually about a year and a half ago in Lincoln.
Yeah.
Not in this venue, but in Lincoln. And
Was it
I can't remember where it was. It was the Crashed Out, the festival. The summer festival.
Oh, you did this? Did you do the? What was it? 2011?
2012.
Oh, 2012.
Yeah. It was good. It was a good show, and so I like.
Who have we got on bass tonight?
Bass is a mate of ours called Steve Cogton. He's from Crawley.
Right.
He's not playing in any bands at the moment, but yeah, he's just kind of like helping us out at the moment, like, and sort of and doing all our shows for us for now. And we haven't really got any news regarding sort of like filling bass, like having a bass position permanently filled yet. But you know, we've been playing for him for a few months now. So
yeah, I was going to ask that. I was going to say, is he the permanent lineup, or is he like?
Yeah.
Is he going to be was he a Thom Shaw for a
yeah,
little while,
we had a mate of ours called Thom, and he's always had his own band and his own sort of commitments. He was from Stokes, it's a bit further away from us and stuff like that. But he's a really cool guy. We still get along and stuff. Although I don't see him as much as I'd like to. But yeah, he's doing his own thing, his own band and stuff like that. So Steve's playing for us. Yeah, lineup-wise, we're just keeping it four-piece, as our permanent sort of fixture at the moment. Like, being in a band's difficult, and it's you know, it may seem like obvious from the outside. A lot of people said to us, like, oh, you should have just had Thom Shaw join and stuff, but it's way more complicated than that. Like, not everyone can just drop everything and come and be in a band, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not always some people will go, like, I'd love to be in Heights. It's like, well, he wouldn't. So, you know, it's not always perfect for everybody. So it's a bit more complicated than it seems sometimes. But, I mean, you know, we're just keeping it four-piece at the moment, and that's cool for us.
That's the Heights we're going to love for the next year.
For the time being, at least, anyway. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. The fan favourite being Noble Lie and These Streets.
I guess so, yeah.
How do you feel when everyone sort of really gets going to the songs and, you know?
Yeah, it's cool. Like, I mean, half the songs we play, like, I didn't write. So there's sort of, you know, there's the old stuff that dead ends, but it's cool because I was friends with the guys in the band and I was around when they wrote them, and I was, you know. So it's nice to be able to see people reacting to those songs and stuff. And then obviously the newer stuff that I did write, and I helped write some of the lyrics I wrote and stuff. It's cool to be able to see people sort of respond to those sort of things. You know, like,
exactly.
You wrote a vocal line and then you write some lyrics, and people a year later are in a venue and they're singing them back to you, and it doesn't feel like any time's passed at all. It's cool.
Very surreal.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Do you get that with the Old Lives for Young Lives? I'm just going to go into that now.
Yeah.
With it being released earlier in April this year.
Yeah.
You know, how do you feel about the fact that the second album has had such a positive impact, you know, all over Europe?
Yeah. I mean, it's weird, like, sometimes, you know, an album gets released, you spend so long building up. So we recorded that album about 10 or 11 months before it was released.
Yeah.
And we were in a sort of bit of a legal battle with our old label and stuff. So it took a while to get it out, and then you sort of distance yourself from the record so much because it's been so long coming out and stuff, and it became such a battle and it became so difficult to release. But then in the end, like, it did actually end up having like quite a positive, like, people really did respond to it quite well, which obviously I wasn't expecting. And so, you know, we play shows now, and obviously, like, some people go off to those songs harder than they did for our old ones. It's a weird feeling. I wasn't expecting it, and I'm still never expecting it. Every time we go on stage, I just think, oh, no one's going to know these songs, and then they do, and it's kind of weird, but yeah, it's just weird. It's the only way I can put it, really.
Well, that's fair enough, to be honest.
Yeah,
but, you know, I think if I look at a band like yours, and, you know, I'm just like pretty sort of like, oh my god, you know, they really know what they're doing and know exactly what you just said, to be honest, really.
Yeah, it's weird because some people will say to us, like, we played Russia in July.
Yeah, I was about to get to that as well.
Yeah, cool. Sorry to beat you to it.
No, it's fine.
We played there in July, and we've done Eastern Europe before. We did Poland and Slovakia and Slovenia and stuff. Russia's like that to an extreme, and the fans there are kind of they're quite extreme. They're really into a band
because it's only like for the past 25 years they were allowing bands to actually play in Russia.
Of course, yeah. So I mean,
was it about the time you were touring that Pussy Riot were actually arrested?
Yeah. It was around that sort of time. Yeah, I mean, when we flew out of Moscow, Edward Snowden was still in there, and stuff like that. It's a place of obviously it's a political hotbed in a way. So then playing there, the kids really appreciate you being able to get out there, because it's not always financially viable and it's not always entirely safe, I suppose. But it's also like they're obsessed, they're mad, and they come up to you and they go like, oh, I'm so happy to meet you, I'm so grateful, and even if you just say like one word in Russian, they just lose it, and they're like, oh my god, you're amazing, and all this sort of stuff, and it's really weird. But then I sort of think that about over here, people are a bit more reserved, but I still you still do have fans that come up to you and sort of say, oh, I love you and your album's so great and it's amazing and I don't know how you could have written something so good, and I sort of go like, you kidding? Like, are you taking the mick, or like I don't really take them seriously because I'm sort of like, does someone put you up to this?
It's just like quite,
because I'm in my own head, like, and I was there, like when I was younger, I looked at bands that we tour with now, like Architects and stuff, and I think they're like a perfect band. And you realise as you go on, everyone's human, everyone makes mistakes, and everyone does stuff that, you know, that everyone writes music that they don't like in a couple of years' time or whatever. But
it must have been like a really big experience to do Russia. I mean, is that when it hit you that, oh wow, you know, we're playing Russia and look at the response?
That was a weird thing because they paid for like our flights and they paid for all our hotels and all our food and stuff. So we were kind of like living this really bizarre like life of we could sort of do whatever we wanted and people were going to pay for it, and we just got to go out there and play some shows for like absolutely free. And it was like, that was a really weird feeling for us. That was cool. Yeah, that was a big like reality check. Yeah.
Oh, wicked. So you're doing a 12-day Europe tour.
Yeah.
From the 10th to the 21st.
10th to the 21st. I think it is. Yeah, that's the one.
With just the Kids and Shields. You know, are you looking forward to doing Europe, because you're doing Luxembourg, Germany, Austria, Switzerland and Belgium? You know, that's like in 12 days, that's like a hell of a lot of mileage.
It's quite a long way. It's not the longest we've done. We did Architects and While She Sleeps last year. We did like 21 days, so it was a bit longer. But we did thousands of miles, 5,000-6,000 miles. I'm stupid. I don't even know. But so this is, I mean, Europe's on a different level with us. Like you go to Australia and you do 12, 13-hour drives in a go. And you have to drive all night just to get to the next show, to the show the next day. So then, the more you do it, the more you get used to it. But I am really excited to go to Europe again. Germany is obviously the staple. That's sort of, everyone always goes to Germany in the middle, and then you get to go to countries like we go to Austria, I think, and then like Switzerland and Belgium and stuff. It's great. Like,
are those your favourite countries to play then? Now?
Germany's some of them. Like Germany's one of my favourite countries to play, just because I like Germany. I like German people. I like the culture. I like the sort of it's a cool place to play, and you get to play there the most. Like it's the biggest sort of central country, so people take you there the most, and you play the most sort of shows there, and that makes the most sort of sense for tours to go through there. So it becomes your favourite sort of through default, because you get the most response there because you play the most shows there. Yeah, basically.
Would you say, you know, you're doing a lot of shows to warm yourselves up for this Europe tour, because there's like no one day off, but have you already got used to that then?
No, we can't. Yeah, you kind of just have to get used to it, and sometimes the first show can be a little bit like, you know, bands always sort of talk about the first show of tour, first show of tour, because people don't know each other yet, and everyone's sort of finding their feet, and bands are getting back into it and stuff. But honestly, like, after a while, you do get a bit more used to it. It just becomes a bit more automatic, and you can kind of jump back into tour mode a bit quicker.
It's like with 100 Days, the new Architects movie. So you're obviously on tour in the video. You was on tour with video.
We did part of that tour with them. Yeah, part of the world tour they did. Yeah, we did the Europe leg with them. So
with Sleeps and
Sleeps.
So like at that point, did you think that was sort of like the big break? You know, that you started to get a fan base going and to get together.
I don't really believe in sort of big breaks, but like as they go for Europe, like I think that was probably the biggest one we've had at the moment. I don't believe there's any sort of one particular moment where you just become a bigger band or become more. But I think for that for us, for Europe, mainland Europe was a big thing, because before that we'd only really toured with like pretty much like straight up hardcore band. We did like tour with TRC, and I love those guys and I loved that tour, but it wasn't a good tour for our band. Like, you know what I mean? We weren't playing to people that really appreciate people. Their TRC fans were there, and people didn't really understand what we were doing in the same way. They were sort of and over here, I think this is a big thing to say about the UK, is you can put a band like Heights and a band like TRC on in the same show, and the kids will show up and go mad for both bands, because we have such a diverse taste over here, whereas in Europe it's not exactly the same. Kids don't really have the same sort of diverse taste over there. Right. So sometimes people would just be into this sort of type of hardcore and not really be interested in anything else.
Okay.
So sometimes we were playing to a lot of blank faces, just sort of like, I don't care about you, like, go away. So to do the Architects and While She Sleeps tour was a big thing for us, because for the first time in Europe we were playing to people that we knew would really understand and sort of get our music.
That's brilliant.
So yeah, that was the most important thing about that tour for us, I think. Yeah.
Wicked. You know, what was it like working with Architects for like so long? Like, did you learn anything from them, and are you still sort of learning from bands like Architects?
Yeah. When you're in a band, you're always learning, because it's difficult, and it's hard. So you're always learning something. Like there's always going to be some sort of new challenge coming up. Like even when you think there's not. We kind of had this joke in our band where like we'll say, oh, we've got to do this, we've got to shoot a video, we've got to do, you know, it's going to be expensive, we're going to need the guys to put a bit of money in. We always have this joke, we're like, oh yeah, this will be the last thing for a while though, this will be the last thing until, you know, and because every 2 months it comes up again and you go, all right, great. And it's, you know, it's a price you have to pay because it's difficult being in a band, but
yeah,
that's the same with lessons learned. It's always easy to say, oh, yeah, but now we know better, and then 2 months something will come up from behind you and you go, oh wait, we know nothing. And you'll go on a tour with a band like Architects and you go, oh yeah, we really don't know anything. And then we did like Your Demise earlier on this year, and every new band you tour with always gives you a new outlook on something. You know, that's the great thing, is everyone always gives you something new to learn. Cool.
So did the band Architects, did you come away knowing more than you did before you went on the tour?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Like for the arena tour, well not arena, for the sort of big room tour we did with them in 2011, and then also the European tour. Like, yeah, of course you learn things. We did a headline tour in October. Yeah. And of being the headlining band, I guess we were the biggest band on that tour, if you want to put it that way. But I was still learning lessons from bands that were supporting us. You know, like it doesn't matter how big a band is. It's just like people. You learn lessons from people in life. It doesn't, you know, whoever they are, you're always going to learn something from them. So yeah, I came away from that tour a million times wiser than when I left. And hopefully, if we ever get to tour with them again, it'll be the same situation again. It's just yeah.
That's wicked. So what was it like recording with Sam Carter for Old Lives, Fleeting Lives?
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool because we didn't really know what was going to go down. We'd hung out with him like a bit before that. We did a tour with him, but it was only 5 days long, so we didn't really know what was going to happen. And then he came and he was just really receptive, and he was up for hearing our ideas, and he got in there and really like put his own stamp on it, rather than just coming in and being like, yeah, what do you want me to do then? I'll do that. He really wanted to like make something out of it, make something special out of it, and was like made it his own thing and put his own stamp on it, which is cool.
That's wicked. That's really, really cool. You mentioned Your Demise, and you're supporting them next year on their farewell tour.
Yeah, we're doing one of the London shows. Yeah,
the Underworld.
The Underworld
on
show,
the 14th of March. Okay, so can we see you making any guest appearances? Because I saw there was one on Burnt Tongues.
Yeah, I think I've done Burnt Tongues. The last 15 Your Demise shows in the UK or something, I don't know. Yeah, we started doing it in when we did the UK tour with them in February. Yeah, we started. Yeah. Because I think Jimmy said to me or something like, yeah, you should come on and just do one night. Like we always give Burnt Tongues, like just do Burnt Tongues. It'll be cool, it'll be fun. And then it just kind of became a thing. And then when they did Slam Dunk in May of this year, we were playing there as well. And then I did it there as well and stuff like that. It kind of sort of became a thing whenever we sort of saw each other. We were like, yeah, let's do it. Why not? So yeah, maybe I'll do it. I don't know. But
it's great to have a thing like that with
bands. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah. Like I did, Even If You Win with Architects a couple of times in that tour, and some stuff with Endeavour, Soul to Soul, and things like that. It's cool. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
I love doing those sort of things.
And I think a lot of bands do Even If You Win with Architects. Is it Ken from Crossfaith? I think is it?
Did he?
Yeah, he did it.
That's
as
cool.
Well,
That's cool. I didn't know that. Yeah.
I
think I saw Matt Welsh, who isn't even the singer of Sleeps, and he did it. He did it with them for one show. Yeah, in their UK tour. Yeah, I didn't see it, but I saw a picture of it. So, yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So we both come away learning something new.